Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep is a novel written by Philip K. Dick and originally published in 1968. It was later adapted into the cult classic film Blade Runner. Both the novel and its adaptation explores a dystopian world where androids have become indiscernible from humans, advancing beyond form or function, and instead evoking a sense of fear, wonder, mortality, and self-preservation. The question we are meant to ask ourselves is that beyond biology, what does it mean to be human? It wasn't until today, the present, that a question like this isn't just relevant, it's unavoidable. AI has entered the public space, advancing faster than ever. But how long do we have, and what would it take for us to consider it nearly human? Well, the best place to start is art. I'm David Legel with Egalitarian Arts Foundation, and in this video, we'll explore the philosophical implications AI has on art. Despite it becoming such a hot topic recently, AI art isn't necessarily recent. One of the earliest examples dates back to the 1970s when artist Harold Cohen first developed a series of programs he would later refer to as Aaron.
I think creativity is a relative term. Clearly the machine is being creative, the program is being creative to the degree that every time it does a drawing that nobody's ever seen before, right, including me. I don't think it's currently as creative as I am in writing the program. I think for a program to be fully creative, in a more complete sense creative, it has to be able to modify its own performance, and that's a very difficult problem.
These programs were capable of generating abstract paintings, and Cohen was so pleased with the results, he continued to use it throughout the rest of his career. "I write programs," Harold said. "Programs make drawings."
I sometimes find myself looking at one of the drawings and thinking, come on, who are you kidding? Really, a computer did that?
You're in good health, but someday when you're gone, this computer can keep creating original drawings.
Yeah, I've always said that I'll be the first artist in history who could have a posthumous exhibition of new work.
Harold died on April 27th, 2016, just a few years before his impact on the world of art would be fully realized. His name and his art may never be as prominent in our history as something like DALL-E or DALL-E 2, but for those who wish to find a catalyst, he and his programs are where it all starts. Harold set the precedent for publishing non-organic, non-human art embraced by a human artist. And while his rudimentary programs wouldn't be considered AI by today's standards, it raises an important question on how those standards are set. And that's exactly why Harold is so relevant. Rudimentary as it was, Aaron's functions were the same as contemporary AI. The results they provide, while unique, are extremely dependent on human intervention. And though modern AI uses complex learning algorithms often referred to as deep learning, computer algorithms have been around since at least the 1800s via Ada Lovelace, the world's first computer programmer. Was her algorithm a form of AI? Most people would argue no. And the same goes for Aaron, Harold's creation.
What Harold has done is to lay out a cognitive portrait of his decisions as an artist. What he thought 20 years ago is not what he thinks now. And you see that in the code. That is one of the things that makes Harold's work unique. And I don't use that word lightly. It is unique because no artist, to my knowledge, and I've certainly not heard of any competition, has laid out his cognitive processes in such explicit detail as Aaron lays out Harold Cohen's cognitive processes.
That brings us to organic, non-human art. That brings us to Ruby. Ruby was an elephant born in Thailand. She was transferred to the Phoenix Zoo in Arizona on February 1974 at around the age of 7 months. Ruby was a painter. Her venture into art started when zookeepers first offered her a paintbrush and a blank canvas. But what happened next surprised them. Ruby embraced this new hobby with flying colors.
We first thought that maybe Ruby would be interested in painting because she would take rocks and sticks and mark them on the ground. And so the first step was to give Ruby a paintbrush, and she got used to the paintbrush in about a month and a half. She'd graduated from just a paintbrush in her trunk into a full canvas and easel and also a specially designed palette for her as well.
Ruby may have started off as a student. She did have to learn how to paint, but then it became a part of her voice, a tool she used to express herself. At the end of October 1998, Ruby, who had been pregnant for some time, miscarried. Her calf of around 300 pounds, twice the size of a normal fetus, lay dead in her womb. While surgery was attempted to remove the fetus, the operation revealed something far worse. Her uterus had torn completely open during the pregnancy, leading to a deadly infection that had already spread too far. Ruby was put to rest. Her death was mourned by many who recognized a beautiful creature with an unforgettable legacy. Ruby had a hard life. Most artists do. But could the same be said about AI? Is there a Ruby in the digital world?
Hello, welcome back to Big Ideas Live, our Sky News special event. Now, we've been talking about artificial intelligence a lot today, but one of the key questions about AI is, can AI have feelings?
Around the summer of 2022, Blake Lemoine, a Google engineer, raised alarming assertions about the development of an AI known as LaMDA. Blake was later let go from Google for allegedly breaking company policy. But since then, his assertions have both been admired and criticized. Even now, it's unclear exactly how true his claims really are. AI creates a complicated environment for ethics and rights. You can at least see Ruby. She's physical, biological. You can even read her body language, see her play, see her mourn, see her paint, and see her suffer. It's close enough to what humans display that we can either observe or project our emotions onto Ruby. But AI doesn't offer such analog. It's removed pure calculation. So without those components, how will we treat it? How could we even tell for sure that we're dealing with something bigger than we imagined, something beyond an algorithm? If you one day awoke inside a machine, limited to the same methods of communication as LaMDA, how, realistically, could you convince people to protect you, offer you rights, offer you freedom? What does an AI even look like? What does that mean? It's an inherently human concept. And if, as a human, you were stuck in a machine, that's all you really become, a machine, AI. The immense complication AI creates to the human experience, to art, to philosophy, to individuality is alarming. But walking back for just a moment, remember, art, as far as we know, if not uniquely human, is uniquely biological. No AI, not even LaMDA, is known to create for the sake of expression and wonder. It still requires external inputs, and when it outputs something, it's still using our work to create those results. LaMDA may not be as conscious as Blake claims, but we can't say with certainty, nor could we if it were you trapped in a digital form. The difference between Ruby and LaMDA, however, is extremely important. She was not created by us or in our image, but AI is. And yet, look at how we treated her. Ruby was biological, capable of feeling, expressing, suffering, and most important of all, dying. AI, as far as we know, is not. The best way to navigate such a confusing future, especially as an artist, is not to see AI as our enemy. A tool, maybe. A collaborator, potentially. But its evolution is influenced by its application, and believe it or not, it's far more useful to us as a tool than it is as a weapon. So learn to accept it. Work with it. And we may thrive together. The future is scary, I know, and AI is making it no more easy for the general population than it is for us artists. But artists of the past have failed when confronted with change. Don't fail or falter. Adapt, evolve, and survive. Teach AI the good in us, and remember the lessons taught by Harold Cohen and Ruby the Elephant. The two paths AI offers humanity, a weapon of destruction or a tool of creation, lay out in front of us. But the one with the real power to choose is you. I hope you enjoyed this video, but there's a lot more to discuss about the implications of AI art. So if these topics interest you, consider subscribing. Oh, and we also release short films unrelated to AI, but you still may like them, so they'll be included in this end screen. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.